This is Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. Good evening, listener. I'm Steve Taylor, your host to a horror anthology podcast where we ask you to depart from your safe perception of reality to descend with us into the frightening depths and dark corners of twisted imaginations. With carefully curated original tales of terror each week, our deepest rooted fears are brought to the forefront by a diverse cast of voice talent and masterfully eerie sound design that bring these stories to life. We'll give you tales of unnerving encounters with the occult, harrowing hauntings, and sinister seances that show just how darkness knows no bounds. Make sure to check out Chilling Tales for Dark Nights on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to True Scary Story. There's something strange at the house where Allison grew up in. Objects, the sensation of being watched, were all part of the family's experiences. But there was one entity, a child, that she kept seeing. But there was a reason, something that would explain everything about the property. My name is Edmund, and here is Allison's True Scary Story.
This all started in the Philippines when I was 8. My grandparents built the house during the war. After it was built, my parents lived there. We were there until I was 16. The house was so huge and old. We have 2 floors, 2 living rooms, one downstairs and one upstairs. And we had a huge staircase. I would constantly get creeped out by the staircase even during the daytime. My mom would have helpers. We call them angels back where I'm from. Here in Canada, they're called maids. None of them would last. They would complain that in the middle of the night, they would hear noises in the kitchen. They would check up on it, thinking someone was there. None of them lasted long, and my mom didn't know what to do. She tried blessing the house, have a priest come there every other month blessing it. Nothing worked. My dad went off to work off country. My mom would work graveyard shifts. It was just me and my 6 siblings. I would constantly encounter a child. I think it was a boy. I didn't know back then. I was certain it was a child. One time, I was walking up the stairs. It was at 10 p.m. When I was in the middle of the stairs, I heard someone calling me. Not by my name, but it was like... It was calling me like that. It was a child's voice. I froze up in the middle of the stairs. I really hated sleeping in my room. It was huge. I felt like someone was watching me, especially during nighttime. Every time my mom told me, "Oh, let's all sleep in the living room," I was so happy about it. I went to my room. I share my room with my 2 other sisters. The bunk bed where I share with my sister was on the opposite side of the room. I sleep on top and she sleeps on the bottom. My eldest sister's bed, Nina, it was also on the other side. I got my sister's bed, pulled it up. As soon as I turned around to face the door, I saw a child curled up on my second eldest sister's bed, the bottom one. I froze there staring at it. It was black. It was curled up, facing me, but I couldn't see the face. He was hugging his knees. I ran out crying to my mom. I was saying, "There's a kid on Alyssa's bed. Please do something about it." They all went to my room. They didn't see anything. There was this other time we were all sitting on the dinner table. Nina She told me I was about to sit on one of the chairs. She yelled at me saying, "No, don't sit there. Someone's sitting there." I was like, "What? There's no one sitting there." I nudged it off. I thought she was just trying to scare me. I sat next to her. After a couple of hours, I went back downstairs again. It was just me. I was awake. I was gonna grab a drink of water. I accidentally bumped onto the table, making the cup fall. It was a glass cup. I picked it up. I put it back there, and I thought it was so odd that the angels would leave the cup there. I was like, whatever. Grabbed my cup, went upstairs, and as soon as I was about to climb upstairs, I heard the glass fall. I remember vividly there were no windows open, there were no fans or AC on. I ran upstairs. My siblings were so used to hearing things fall or someone calling us when it's just us. We knew it wasn't there was because it would be the voice of my aunts and uncles when they were in America. We thought it was just normal hearing these things because my neighbors would tell me we experienced some of that things here at our house. So we were like, yeah, it's fine. There's a saying in the Philippines, if you acknowledge it, the stronger it will get. So we pretend it wasn't there. My siblings and I, even when we're together playing, we would hear someone calling us, not by our names, but going, "Sst, sst." And we would get creeped out. We would hear the voices of them calling us downstairs when we're upstairs or the room next to us, even though it's empty. My third encounter with the kid, I was eating in the dinner table. It was dinner time. Next to the dinner table was a hallway, a long hallway to the laundry room. We have this weird battery charger. It would constantly blink red or green. I had a feeling of someone watching me down that hallway in the laundry room. The room was pitch black. All you could see is the red light blinking. I quickly turned around. I saw a kid peeking through the door. It was a Japanese boy. He had a pale face. He didn't have any eyes. It was just pure black. No expression at all. I started crying. My sister shook me, saying like, "Hey, what's wrong? What's wrong?" I pointed at the hallway, saying like, "There's a kid there." My siblings were hesitant. One of the angels went over there, opened the lights, and said, "There's nothing there." And for the rest of the night, they left the lights open because I was crying so hard. I know something was there. My other encounter, it was at the dinner table. I was eating. When I looked down, I saw a kid looking directly at me, holding onto my knees. When I quickly looked back up, it was gone. At this point, I was around 12 or 15. I just brushed it off. It's been happening my whole life. We've been seeing things that would just run across the room. Only I encountered the child.
Allison's story continues right after this. Stay with us.
The reason why I'm confident it was a child, my aunt, before she flew to America, she had her friend come over and she didn't know she was a medium, someone that can see ghosts and contact the dead. When she entered the house, she felt dread. She was overwhelmed with sadness. She said, "There are spirits here. One is a child, one is a woman, and one is a man." She felt creeped out. She didn't know what to do. That's why I know what I was seeing. My sister, Nina, she encountered the woman the day before my mom's birthday, around October 27. The night before, she was downstairs in, back home, we call it terrace. It's just a huge backyard. It's a terrace where people can get around. Think of it as a living room, but it's more spacious. There was a glass door, a huge glass door and wall connecting the main living room and its terrace. It was around 10 p.m. All my siblings were upstairs. We had another maid. Her name was Ate Becca. She was in charge of taking care of my little brother Gabby because he was still a kid back then. My sister Nina was downstairs fixing all the party stuff. She was hanging up balloons on the ceiling, banners, and at the corner of her eye, she saw Ate Becca. It was odd because all she was wearing was all dark. She was wearing black clothes, and she noticed she had only 3 fingers. She was staring directly at my sister. She looked just like Ate Becca. She didn't bother with her. She went on shrugging it off. She slammed herself onto the glass door, and my sister stopped. It wasn't strong enough to make the glass shake, but you would hear it. It was strong enough that you could hear it. My sister looked at her and said, "What are you doing? There's a door right there if you want to walk through it." She got annoyed more than scared. When she went back onto doing the decorations second time, she slammed herself full body onto the glass. She got more irritated. She was like, "What are you doing? There's a door right there, Ate Becca, if you want to walk through it." She pointed at it, but the girl wasn't looking at anything else but my sister. Direct eye contact. The third time was after a couple of minutes. It was so hard that she said the glass shake to the point it almost broke. My sister got so mad. She ran through the door and it was gone. She was then creeped out and went to the maid's room. It was on the first floor. They were all wearing pink and bright colors, and they said, like, "Have you seen Ate Becca?" "No, she is upstairs taking care of Gabby." She said, "That's impossible because she was just downstairs watching me do the decorations." They were also confused. She went upstairs and Ate Becca was upstairs in my mom's room. She was wearing a light blue shirt, pink pants. She got so scared, she started telling my siblings and Ate Becca that I saw you just downstairs wearing black. You had 3 fingers. She's like, "What are you talking about?" Another occasion when my mom started believing us is when Gabby was 4 or 5. He saw the woman again. This time he was with Ate Becca, again by the staircase. They were walking upstairs. Gabby told Ate Becca to stop and move because there's a woman walking upstairs. Ate Becca got so scared, picked up Gabby and ran upstairs, told my mom that your son is seeing things. That's when my mom was like, "Yeah, no, we're done. This was a week before my uncle visit us from America. They talked about it. He built another house somewhere far from here. We went to Project 6, and at the new house, it felt like a huge weight from my back was gone. I didn't feel like being watched anymore. I felt like as if didn't need to worry so much or be scared around the house. Before we left, the woman really made herself know that she was there. It wasn't my experience, but there was a picture of it. I wished I had that picture. In the downstairs living room, we had a huge mirror. You know, when you go inside a ballet's dance room and there's a huge mirror just like that. We had one of those. Next to it is all pictures of my aunts and uncles when they were children. One of the things that were standing out of it was a statue of a woman sitting down and a man playing a harp. Becca was taking pictures of herself on that mirror. She screamed so loud that my Nina and the other maid ran downstairs like, what happened? What happened? She was crying hysterically, saying, there was someone next to me. There was a woman. It was a picture of an old Japanese woman. Next to her, all you could see was her face. My sister and the other maid tried to take pictures again, exact same pose and where she was, thinking that they were just trying to prank them. And no, it was next to her. A woman with a pale face with red lipstick. She had no eyes. It was just dark. It was the traditional Japanese woman makeup. I know this is because me and my younger brother Miguel were rough playing in the maid's room, and Becca was there. She said, like, if you don't stop, this girl will take you. She showed a picture of it. At first we were confused and laughing, like, yeah, you're just scaring us. That's not real. She told us, go ask the other maid and your sister. We went up to our sister and we asked, and she told us the story. I still remember the picture of that woman. It was very terrifying. I asked Becca if she would ever delete the pictures. She said no. She believed that if you delete the picture, you would set the spirit free, and what's stopping it from haunting her was that picture. So after that, we finished packing up and left. Everyone left. My uncle put it up to sale, and there were new people that moved into that house. I just came back from visiting my aunts and uncles in the US. I asked them, how's the house going? They told me the new owners were complaining about it. They just moved out too. It's just vacant at this point. No one wants to buy it. My grandpa was an architect. He built over a dumping site of Japanese corpses. He told me after we all moved out.
If you have a story to share, head on over to truescarystory.com and fill out the form. For ad-free episodes and more, try out scaryplus.com for free. To get in touch, my details are in the description of this episode, and you can also follow our Instagram and TikTok over at scary.fm. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Keep it scary, everyone. See you soon.